we do those AMAs and community calls quite often, and people are asking us, what's the difference between Binance Exchange and Cronos, right?
What?
Cryptocurrency exchange.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Chain Debrief Podcast. Today we have in our studio with us Qiang from Cronos Dapps. So she's the head of ecosystem and partnerships at Cronos Dapps, and today she's kindly taken the time to come all the way down to our studio and have a chat with us.
Thanks, Lee. Hey everyone, my name is Ella. I lead ecosystem and partnerships at Cronos Dapps. It's good to be here.
So what do you exactly do as a head of ecosystem and partnerships?
So it's everything about business development for the Cronos Chain. So Cronos Chain is a public blockchain that is EVM compatible. And our main goal is to onboard more dApps, more use cases to the communities of retail users, right? So in terms of business development, we talk a lot with new projects who are looking for a new home for their applications. We're talking to a lot of existing projects that are expanding to multiple blockchains. We talk to a lot of infrastructure providers to give robust toolings and infra to the developer communities that are building on Cronos. We also have various incentive programs like hackathons, grants, accelerators, which it's also under the ecosystem and partnerships arm.
Ooh, so when you say onboarding certain projects onto Cronos, do you mean like projects which are not on the chain and you're trying to bring them onto the chain?
Yeah, exactly. Cronos is relatively young, right? So we launched mainnet beta in November last year. So it's been around for less than a year. Even though being like a relatively young chain and ecosystem, there has been very fast growing inflow of projects. We have over 300 applications and projects already deployed on mainnet. So part of our job is to, first of all, support them to grow. So for the projects already deployed on Cronos mainnet, we help them to facilitate partnerships introductions, help them with user onboarding, help them grow basically on Cronos. And then second thing is what I mentioned earlier about onboarding, right? We want more and more dApps deploy on Cronos, more use cases, especially I think right now our communities has been asking a lot about gaming, Web3 gaming onboarded to Cronos.
I remember the time last year in, you said November, right? That's when the mainnet beta launched. So I think a few of us, myself included, a few of us in the company, we were also pretty active in the Cronos ecosystem. So I think, Jules over here, we were both degens, and I remember when VVS Finance launched. Right. So VVS, I remember I was there like right on the hour it launched, and then like all the farming pools, the APRs like. They didn't even show the APRs because they're too high. I remember I degenerated into that, and then good for me. The rest is history. But I mean, over time I just degenerated into more projects, and then everything just went all the way down. But back to you. So what's a day-to-day like in Cronos Dapps?
For Cronos Dapps, they're a different department, right? So there is the ecosystem partnership side, which is my team, very like external communication focused. So majority of our day-to-days is conducting phone calls. I think like on average, I probably have like 8 to 10 calls a day. Wow. Most extreme is like 15 calls. That's my record. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of communications with projects, and right now the focus has been we have a accelerator program. So right now we're also providing a lot of hands-on mentorship advisory services to projects in our accelerator. We're closing off cohort 1 right now, so helping them with tokenomics and linking them with the various investors, right? So these are also part of my job. And then under Cronos Labs, we also have obviously the marketing department who manages marketing and community of Cronos. And then we are a venture studio as well, so we incubate like Cronos native, a few Cronos native projects. So there's a big team consists of engineers, product managers, operations, etc., who are kind of building the dApps on Cronos.
So when you speak to projects, do you do the vetting yourself, or do you like just get to like you get an introduction of their project and then you guys have a team to go deep dive into whether the project is legit or not, or do you do it all by yourself?
Yeah, we have a team. Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to do it by myself. Give you an example, we have the grant program, right? On a weekly basis, we probably receive about 100 to 200 applications every week. So these are like new applications coming into our portal. So we have a process where, our team do the initial vetting and then provide the shortlist recommendations to a working group that consists of a few people from other team as well, especially like the chain team with the technical engineering insights that can provide it to us. It really varies based on what projects are we speaking with and what kind of support that we want to provide. It ranges from, just speaking with us, since we are the closest, our team are the closest to the ecosystem, over all the way to, if there's like investment or grants that associate with it, there will be more people on the team involved in the decision making.
That's interesting. And I want to go back a few months, like before Cronos even launched. So I think like before like there was Cronos, there was Crypto.org chain, right?
That's right, yes.
So I don't know, for me it's a little bit confusing because right now there's two chains, right? Is Crypto.org chain still active, or are you guys focusing mainly on Cronos?
Yeah, so Crypto.org chain is still there. It's still operating. And it's the chain that powers the CRO token.
Yeah.
So the Crypto.org chain is a parallel chain to Cronos. So they're both Cosmos-based chains. The difference is Cronos also have a EVM module called Ethermint that is on top of the Cosmos SDK layer, right? So this allows any Solidity developers and EVM-based projects to easily just deploy on Cronos or just port their existing code base onto Cronos, which we think is still the most developer-friendly kind of framework right now in the Web3 space. For Crypto.org, right now it's powering the CRO token. It powers the Crypto.com Pay and also powers Crypto.com NFT marketplace. But NFT marketplace, they also support several different chains, including Cronos. So Crypto.org chain is one of the solutions that, if you issue your NFT on the marketplace, like that's one of the chains you can choose from. But I think what's interesting is because both of the chains are Cosmos-based chains and both are IBC enabled. So there's a lot of future implementations or functionalities that we're super excited to explore. So in the Cosmos space nowadays, beside like right now, the main thing is like IBC, right? Yep. Which allows you to trustlessly transfer tokens and also passing general purpose messagings between the various IBC enabled chains. But recently there's also like interchain security, interchain accounts, which allow, I'm particularly interested about the interchain accounts feature, which allows you to control accounts from on the other chain as well. I think it really opens up the composability and interoperability within like the DeFi ecosystem in Cosmos. So I think with those features coming up, like there will be more interactions or things that we can do between Crypto.org chain and Cronos over time.
Okay, that's interesting here, because I think like I was the under impression of like, you guys started Cronos, so everything's gonna be focused on Cronos right now. So what's the user base like for Cronos versus Crypto.org? Because I would assume that after you guys started Cronos, seeing as like through the media, through social media and everything, everyone's on Cronos, all the projects are on Cronos. So are there more people using Cronos right now versus Crypto.org chain? And are you guys planning to focus on one or both chains when it comes to development?
Yeah, I think for now the focus is on Cronos chain and Cronos ecosystem. So we're approaching, almost reaching 1 million users on Cronos right now. Yeah, so pretty exciting. On the Crypto.org side, I don't have the exact data on what's the active users address. But I would say like the main case is to transfer CRO, right? Because it's the base chain for the CRO token. And if you want to do if you want to do staking for CRO, that also happens on Crypto.org chain. There are interesting use cases such as liquid staking, where you can, stake your CRO on Crypto.org chain. And so right now there's a liquid staking protocol called Argo that allows you to do that. And then they can bridge the staked CRO to Cronos and then do all kinds of the DeFi, Lego
DeFi
magic
stuff.
on Cronos.
Wow, that's interesting. And are you very actively participating in all the dApps on Cronos as well?
Yeah.
What's your most favorite dApp?
Most favorite one. I mean, I participate like pretty much all the DeFi applications on Cronos. Participate VVS at the
VVS.
Day one as well.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I'm pretty excited about the VVS mode. They have a miner mode, like Avagashi kind of game in the pipeline. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I remember they had the Minamo NFT, right? They had that drop. So yeah, I think we all got a few Minamos as well.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know they were launching a game. Wow, we've been out of the chain for so long.
Yeah,
market things.
Yeah, so they'll be launching a game, which is pretty exciting. And the NFTs also allows, more benefits like staking NFTs to earn boosted yields. And I think they also will open up that feature to partner NFT projects as well. So it gives users more ways to earn yields and opens up like that alpha to partner projects. So I think VVS is still very exciting. It's been like the earliest project on Cronos, but have been delivering like new features over time. I like single finance as well. So single finance, it provides like delta neutral, like market neutral yield farming strategy. For retail users. I think with our user base, which is mostly new to Web3 and pretty retail heavy, structured products like that helps them to kind of just don't need to understand too much about what's happening behind the scene and just like one click. And then you can invest in yield product. And I know their team is also working on like new ways to do like real principal protected structured products. I think it's quite interesting to our user base. A few gaming projects that are up in the pipeline. They're not fully out yet because games takes a lot longer to develop. Yes, but I would suggest your listeners to go check out our accelerator program. So there are 5 gaming projects in our accelerator programs, which will be launching next year on Cronos, going from like first-person shooting game to casual games. It's very exciting. And then I think SocialFi is also an area, I'm personally pretty bullish about. We haven't seen like fully built out SocialFi projects yet, but I think some of the basic building blocks like decentralized domain, messaging, notification, like those are the fundamentals toolings that you would need to allow like decentralized social applications. So Cronos ID is one project that powers this feature. So that's also something recently launched and I'm pretty excited.
Ooh, wow, interesting. So will it be correct to say that Cronos is focusing on multiple subsectors instead of just a few like just DeFi or just gaming?
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
That's interesting. And you mentioned SocialFi, so let's go a little bit more into SocialFi. So I've heard about this word. I don't really know what SocialFi is in depth yet. So what is SocialFi?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like SocialFi actually, even though I use it because everyone else uses it. I think it emphasizes too much on the fi, like just like GameFi, right? I think the financial aspect should comes later or should not be the focus. I think Web3 like social application, it's like a peer-to-peer relationship rather than like being based on a tech stack that is backed by a large tech company, and then you're the product and you're the one that being like your existence is being monetized by advertisements, etc. Right. So I think that's the basic concept of Web3 social applications, where I control my data. I control my interactions with others. And if I want to move that relationship, or if I want to monetize in a way of those social interactions, I can decide to do that.
SocialFi might be something to look at in the future. And I want to go into market conditions. So as you all know, right now we're in the bear market. How has that changed when it comes to your day-to-day? Like, do you see like less companies come like approach you guys for funding, or what's the scene like right now?
Yeah, it's actually the opposite.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think because of the market downturn, projects also realize that they probably need to build out their war chest a bit more to kind of prepare for crypto winter. Who knows how long it's gonna last? So there are a few ways that projects are kind of approaching this, right? One is maybe like do another raise. So ecosystem is usually one of the investor category that they would consider. And then two is like grants, right? Getting the grants from the various ecosystem that they want to deploy. And then third one is if it's like a gaming, maybe do some kind of NFT drop, which also helps to bootstrap your community, but also like making some revenues on the side. I think like we definitely seeing more projects approaching to us since the bear market starts. Some of them are thinking like, okay, maybe going multi-chain would be the way. I think like we are definitely embracing the multi-chain trend, and we don't really believe like, okay, Cronos is the only chain that you should be on, right? We want to be the entry point for users into Web3, and through Cronos, like you can go to other chains as well, right? We want to facilitate that transition. But at the same time, I would also want to say that just talking to ecosystem and getting the grants is not necessarily gonna make you be successful on that chain, right? Because I think you still need to grind through like achieving the product market fit and then building your community, building your user base. So definitely received a lot of projects, outreach. They're very good ones. I think like the beauty about bear market is the kind of have easier access to teams and projects that are really focusing on building. So this is I'm actually a fan of bear market.
They weed out all the rugs, scams.
Yeah, a lot of
shady
shady projects come over as well. Like because they want to see, maybe they launch on a new chain, they have the luck to get more users. Yeah. So I mean, we're open to everyone, but the dynamics in bear market is definitely interesting.
Okay, let's say I'm a new project and I go to you guys. I'm looking for funding. What aspects of the project do you look at when it comes to making a decision whether to fund the project or not?
Yeah, so in terms of financial incentives, a few channels you can go to, right? One is the grants program. This is more for, if it's an application, then this is more for early stage project. And then the check size is on the smaller size. Smaller side, it usually ranges from 10 to 50,000. And then we basically look at which category you're in. If it's DeFi, then if it's something that's new that if that doesn't exist on Cronos yet, if it's GameFi, like what is at least like show us some demos, and we want to see if it's high quality. We want to vet the team, whether the team has previous experience on building out successful games. If it's NFT, I think like NFT financialization of NFT is also something that we're quite interested in. So basically for grants, it's kind of taking a look at the ecosystem, obviously the team, and see if it fulfills certain gaps within the ecosystem, right? And then if it's, and then I talked about the accelerator program. So accelerator program is more hands-on. It's a 10 weeks long program where we intend to run at least like 3 cohorts a year. Every cohort will be 8 to 10 projects admitted to accelerator. So these ones we intend to make investments into at least like the majority of the projects. Verticals similar like DeFi, gaming, infrastructure, and tooling. So for those ones, we focus more on the team because this is more like an investment consideration, and we want to back the founders and the team who we think have high probability of being successful. That's another channel. And then on straight up investment front, we work very closely with Crypto.com Capital, which is the venture arm under Crypto.com. So their mandate is, it's not really Cronos only, like they're chain agnostic, but Cronos is one of the ecosystems that they're they're super supportive. So whenever there's a project that coming to us and wanted to do fundraise, usually that funneled over to the capital team.
Very, very interesting. And bear market, so many projects are coming in. What, as a project founder, what advice would you give to them if they want to build on Cronos?
I think that it's not specific to Cronos. I think it applies to anyone who are building Web3 projects. I think first thing, make sure that you have enough runway to go through, the bear market. I think the advice would be, at least prepare 12 to 24 months of runway. So this requires you to do a bit more financial planning, and then looking at which areas that you can cut expenses, right? And thinking about ways to build up your war chest through either raise another round or monetize certain part of the business, etc. Right? I think survival is the number one thing in this market condition. And then secondly, really stay focused on the product and share with your community, right? I think community is very, very important in Web3, which is different from the traditional industry. And seek what the community think about what if you don't have enough bandwidth or resources to build out this full-fledged products, maybe think about particular features or the core product that you want to focus on, and then can monetize that part. This is, I think, the second thing. And then thirdly, bear market is a best time to build, to be honest. Most of the most innovative primitives that we're using, Uniswap, etc., these are all being built in the bear market. So definitely keep heads down, keep building, form alliances. Throughout the bear market, you kind of easily can identify who are the true builders, who are the real investors who can support you throughout the way. So form those alliances that can help you in the long run.
Wow, I really like the last point, form alliances. I see so many projects where they're all siloed, especially not only in the NFT scene, but even in traditional crypto projects, they're all really siloed, especially even within the community themselves. They just want their own project to do well, and then any other project which is similar to them, they'll hate on the other project, and then there'll be this conflict between projects. And I think that's a really good point. Collaborating between projects, it basically just pushes both even further as if they were to do it individually. Basically synergize. Their synergies are good. And one thing I want to know is what are the biggest challenges do you think Cronos has to face or is facing?
I think the first one, with the market downturn and a bit of the drama happened with Terra and a few of the major hacks of DeFi protocols, right? The retail confidence of using Web3, especially DeFi protocol, is probably not as bullish as half a year ago or a year ago. This is a challenge that we're facing, and I think the whole industry is facing. And this is on top of basically Web3 apps are like still sucks on UX
Yep.
and like it's still
Not
very
wrong.
very hard to get average users to onboard. And with now, like, we embrace multi-chain, but it just adds on an extra layer of complexity on the UX front. We do those AMAs and community calls quite often, and people are asking us, what's the difference between Binance Exchange and Cronos, right? Like these are very different things, but for a newbie to understand the differences and knowing like, oh, this token lives on this chain and I have to like bridge, I don't know what bridge should I use. These are big challenges, bottlenecks for us to onboard the next billions of new users. But this is also a big opportunity because I think the unique position Cronos is at is we're backed by Crypto.com, which is quite well-known like brand name, especially for people outside of Web3 space.
Mainly because of the card, right? Because of the
card.
use of the card.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of presence in the major sports, right? So a lot of my normie friends knows about Crypto.com and bought their first Crypto.com through their app or exchange. So I think this is a unique opportunity for us to step up and leveraging our close partner Crypto.com, leveraging their infrastructure with the fiat on-ramp and off-ramp with an experience and brand name that people resonate with to bring more users over to Web3.
Wow, that's great. And I think the main gist here is adoption, and I feel that if you want to increase adoption, one of the main ways would be education, and I think you guys are doing a really good job at that, and you guys are doing a great job with the card. So I think I got the card like last year, got the Indigo one, and I've been using it for all my transactions ever since. Cause I think one way I kind of hacked the card with a few of my colleagues here. So whenever you transact, you get the CRO, right? You get the CRO, few percent of CRO, and then what we do is that we use the card along with other applications like Shopback or Faith, and then we get double rebates. So we've been using that for all our transactions ever since, and really love using the card. And what card do you use?
Indigo as well.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Any plans on upgrading? Silver, Obsidian?
We'll think about it.
Do you know anyone using the Obsidian card?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a crazy one. It's private jet though.
Yeah.
You get a private jet. You get research reports, right?
Yep,
So
that's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
there's Crypto.com also have a non-custodial wallet called DeFi wallet. So you have the option to link your DeFi wallet to your Crypto.com account. So you can do like all the yield farming and stuff through a DeFi wallet, which is completely self-custody. And then you can basically just one click send your, let's say, USDC over to your Crypto.com account, and then just spend that with your card.
wow, that's interesting. And I think one feature which the app recently launched, I think last year, not sure if it's last year or this year, but you guys had like rewards, right? Like daily rewards, and then there's like there's parts where people read articles and then they earn rewards in CRO, right?
Oh right, yeah, that's the Crypto.com, I think, mission.
Yeah, the missions.
Yeah.
And the diamonds, I think. Is it diamonds?
Yeah, diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I think like these really provides in some kind of a educational portal for everyday users, right? So we down the road, we also Cronos ecosystem also have the plan to collaborate with Crypto.com on that front, right? To provide more content and education on the DApp, like on the DeFi and other Web3 application side. So yeah, maybe in the future you will see something that's featured around Cronos ecosystem there.
Wow. At the end of the day, like education is the main driver for adoption, and yeah, really excellent job on that front. Okay, so Token 2049 is next week at the point of filming this video. So are you guys going?
Yes, we are. We have a Cronos booth at 2049.
Well, I'll be sure to head on over and say hi. So one thing I want to know, so like there's so many conferences all around the world. What's the main goal when you head over to conferences?
Yeah, for us, first one is branding, right? Cronos is relatively new. apps on Cronos ecosystem is also relatively new to the bigger Web3 crowd. So we want to get the name out. I remember February this year at ETH Denver, that was our first conference ever. No one has heard of Cronos.
Oh, wow, really?
No one has heard of Cronos. Fast forward till now, I was at Korean Blockchain Week a few weeks ago. I think, people came over to us already talk about like, hey, I've tried out this app and like I want to develop on your blockchain, right? So I think like branding and getting your logos, your face out there is very important for a new ecosystem like us. It also provides an opportunity for us to showcase the different applications that are built on Cronos. So if you go to our booth next week, you will see the various like DeFi, gaming applications that are native to Cronos being showcased at our booth. And we're also giving a lot of swags and goodies.
Looking forward to it.
yeah. So that's a good opportunity. And second one is definitely networking.
Yeah.
Right. So especially for Token 2049, this is probably like the biggest networking week I've experienced. I see, and I've been in the space since 2016, so I've been to a ton of conferences, but I've never seen so many side events and parties. I think, a lot of these networking and in-depth conversations are actually happening at those after parties. So great opportunity for me to reconnect with the old friends who I haven't seen since COVID and, meet new friends.
And get some free drinks as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, we've come to the end of the podcast, and thank you so much, Ella, for taking your time to come over to our studio and join us today. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.